Hello everyone. In today's reading video, we will continue with the next subtopic, that is air pressure. Before starting this lecture, just look into this. Till now, we have completed history and the polity sessions from Lucent GK objective, and we are continuing with the economy. If at all you want to check the complete lectures, go to this playlist and click on it and play from first onwards. And there are 7 lectures of polity, and there are 9 lectures of history. Go to the playlist and play it in a sequence manner so that you won't miss any chapter. Okay, thank you. Okay, the first question. The intertropical convergence zone, that is ITCZ, normally occurs near the Tropic of Capricorn. Subtropical high pressure belts are otherwise called horse latitudes. In the northern hemisphere, depressions more readily develop in the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. These zones are known as Icelandic and Aleutian. In summer, the development of continental low pressure significantly influences the pattern of monsoons that affect the weather of India, the weather of southern Asia, okay, both A and B, but not the weather of the northern Asia. Next is assertion and reason. The large land masses of the Americas and Asia become much warmer in summer and much colder in winter. Assertion is true, and the land gains and loses heat much more quickly than seawater. This is also right, and this is the correct explanation for assertion. The very low temperatures over the polar regions make the air heavy, forcing it to descend, creating a zone of high pressure. Many of the world's hot deserts are found in subtropical high pressure belt. Next is assertion and reason. The sea has a greater specific heat than land. The sea has a greater capacity for absorbing heat than the land, so the surface of the sea warms up slower than the land surface. Assertion and reason both are the correct, and reason is the correct explanation for assertion. A sea breeze front is a weather front created by a sea breeze, also known as convergence zone. Which of the following statements about land breeze and sea breeze is or are correct? A land breeze is created when the land is cooler than the water, such as at night, and the surface winds have to be very light, right? Usually, land breezes are light and reach only 5 to 8 knots. This is also right. 1 nautical mile equal to how many kilometers? Mention that in the comments. A sea breeze is created when the surface of the land is heated sufficiently to start air rising. True, sea breezes tend to be much stronger and can produce gusty winds as the sun can heat the land to very warm temperatures. This is also right. Which of the following statements about land breeze and sea breeze is or are correct? Land and sea breezes are wind and weather phenomena associated with coastal areas. True, land breezes and sea breezes arise because of the differential heating between land and the water surfaces, right? Land and sea breeze patterns can greatly influence fog distribution and pollution accumulation or dispersion over inland areas. This is also right. All of them are the right statements. Next, assertion and reason. The horse latitudes are the region between the trade winds and the prevailing westerlies, right? In this region, the winds are often light or calm and were so named because ships would often have to throw their horses overboard due to lack of feed and water. True. But reason is not the correct explanation for assertion. Which of the following statements is or are correct? Equatorial low. A belt of low pressure associated with the rising air in the ITCZ, which is the rising of warm air heated at the equator, causes an area of low pressure called equatorial low. As the air rises, creates clouds and precipitation. True, first statement is right. Subtropical high. A belt of high pressure associated with the sinking air of the harsh latitudes. True. Subpolar low. A belt of low pressure associated with the polar front. Right. Polar high. A high pressure associated with the cold, dense air of the polar regions. All the four statements are correct. One of the two belts of high atmospheric pressure that are centered in the mean near 30 degrees north and 30 degrees south latitudes is called subtropical high pressure belt. Consider the following statements regarding the distribution. Okay. Which of the following above statements are is or are correct? Regarding the distribution and pattern of isotherms. In the northern hemisphere, isotherms bend sharply equatorward over the continents during winter, right? Temperature gradients are greater in summer than in winter in the northern hemisphere. No, this is opposite actually. First option is correct. Consider the following phenomena. Which of the above is or are attributed to the prolonged drought in the Sahel region of Africa? Shifting of the subtropical high pressure belt towards the equator. True. Lower sea surface temperatures in the eastern North Atlantic. Right. Expansion of the circumpolar westerly vortex. This is also true. All of them are the right options. In the Hadley cell, rising air is about in the intertropical convergence zone. What is the correct sequence of the following zonal pressure belts? Correct sequence. Okay. Select the correct answer using the codes given below. Okay. Equatorial low, then subtropical high, then subpolar, then polar high. Which of the following pressure belts and their corresponding latitudes is not correctly matched? Doldrum 5 degrees north to 5 degrees south, right? Horse latitude 25 degrees to 35 degrees north and south, right? Subpolar low 35 degrees to 60 degrees north and south, no. Polar high, that is at poles, right? True. Mention the latitudes for the subpolar low in the comments. Pressure gradient force has a tendency for the mass movement of air. Which one of the following statements about winds and atmospheric pressure is not correct? Winds blow in a clockwise direction around a center of low pressure in the northern hemisphere. No false. Those blow in the anti-clockwise direction actually. Wind blow in a clockwise direction around a center of high pressure in the northern hemisphere. This is true. Winds blow in the anti-clockwise direction around the center of high pressure in the southern hemisphere. Right. Winds blow in anti-clockwise direction around the center of low pressure in the southern hemisphere. This is also true. Next, the statements. El Nino is a temperature rising phenomena over the Pacific Ocean and usually causes dry monsoon in South Asia. Next statement 2. Tsunamis are usually not noticed as the massive ocean waves move silently but assume destructive form as these travel through shallow waters of continental shelves. Pacific Ocean. Yes, true. First statement is right. Tsunamis are usually not noticed at the massive ocean waves move silently but assume destructive form as these travel through the shallow waters of continental shelves. No. Second statement is wrong, but the first statement is true. A line on a weather map joining all places of equal pressure is called as isobar. Which one of the following statements most accurately describes the relationship between air pressure and air temperature? Air which is cooled contracts and the outward pressure of its molecules is spread over a smaller area. Atmospheric pressure generated on the Earth's surface is due to rotation of Earth. Doldrums is a tropical wind belt. What is the meaning of frictional movement? It means whenever air moves relative to the Earth's surface, frictional drag tends to slow the air and change the direction of movements. The atmosphere air is held to the Earth by gravity. Next subtopic is winds. Chinook is a warm wind in North America. The westerlies have their origin in the subtropical highs. Jet streams are high velocity winds at high altitudes. Which one of the following is not a correct example of tropical cyclone? That is northwesters. Other than this, tornadoes, hurricanes, and typhoons. These are the examples of tropical cyclones. Consider the following surface winds. Okay, which one among the following is the idealized global pattern of these winds from the equator to the pole? Doldrums, then trade winds, then westerlies, then polar winds. The drive in Santa Ana blows in California. Which of the following has the highest wind velocity? Among these four, tornado has the highest wind velocity. Local thunderstorms, not nor'westers, are prominent in West Bengal. In which one of the following regions are the hurricanes apparently absent? Those are absent at southeastern coast of Pacific. Those are mostly present in coast of Texas, Gulf of Mexico, and southeastern coast of USA. Consider the following statements. Mistral is a cold wind blowing in North America. Which of the above statements are correct? Okay. Mistral is a cold wind blowing in North America. No, false. Sirocco is a hot dry wind blowing across the North African coast. True. In the real exam, before answering the question, read the statement. Here he has given that which of the statement given above is correct. But in some of the questions, it will be the statement like which of the statements given above are wrong or incorrect. So read the statement correctly. Otherwise, you will make a silly mistake. What are Chinooks? Warm and dry winds which blow down the eastern slopes of Rocky Mountains of North America. Next is matching. List one are local winds and list two of the countries or regions. Harmattan, West Africa. Habub, Sudan. Bora, Adriatic Coast. Jhonda, Argentina. If the atmosphere is cooled, its capacity for water vapor is lowered. Winds are caused primarily by Coriolis effect. Jet, jet streams blows from west to east. When warm air moves into a region of cold air, it leads in the formation of warm front. Next is assertion and region. The westerlies of the southern hemisphere are stronger and more constant in direction than those of the northern hemisphere. True, the broad expanses of ocean in southern hemisphere rule out the development of stationary pressure belts. Reason is also right, and this is the correct explanation for assertion. An observer in the northern hemisphere who stands with his back to the wind will have lower pressure to his left and higher pressure to his right. This is known by which one of the following? That is Bice-Ballot's law. What are these remaining laws? Mention those in the comments. Consider the following statements. Which of the given statements above are correct? General characteristics of westerlies are largely modified by cyclones and anticyclones. True. Westerlies are the most dominant wind systems in middle latitudes. Right. Westerlies become more vigorous in the southern hemisphere. This is also right. All of them are the correct options. Consider the following. Which of the above are the ideal conditions for the formation of temperature inversions? Among these four, the ideal conditions for the temperature inversions are long winter nights and cold dry area, but not strong winds and cloudy sky. The hot dust-laden wind blowing from Sahara Desert to Mediterranean region is called the Sirocco. Foh and Chinook winds are experienced in the valleys of the Northern Alps in Switzerland and on the eastern slopes on Rockies in North America. Next, assertion and reason. The tropical cyclones are thermal in origin, right? The tropical cyclones developed due to Coriolis force. This is also true, but this is not the right explanation for assertion. Another assertion reason. Considering the world's wind systems, the westerlies normally blow between 40 degrees to 60 degrees latitudes. True. The flow of air from subtropical high pressure leads to the formation of mid-latitudinal planetary wind system. Reason is also right, and that is the correct explanation for assertion. A cold local wind draining occasionally down the Rhone Valley is known as mistral. Prime basin of sinking experiences strong heat wave, causing discomfort during early spring. The wind is popularly known as Karaburan. Next assertion and reason. Westerlies are stronger in the northern hemisphere than in the southern hemisphere. False. Northern hemisphere has more land area than the southern hemisphere. This is true. Which one of the following regions receives the rainfall throughout the year due to the westerly winds? That is South Chile. Next assertion and reason. Polar areas have high atmospheric pressure. True. These areas receive minimum sunshine throughout the year. False. A relatively small rotating funnel that extends downward from the base of towering cloud with thunder, lightning and strong gusty wind is known as tornado. Cold air blows from sea towards land during day, particularly in the afternoon because of lower specific heat and greater absorbing power, causing land to be hotter than sea, causing convection current in air. When warm air moves into the region of cold air, it leads to the formation of warm front. Jet streams blows from west to east. Which one among the following statements regarding Chinook winds is not correct? They bring lots of rain with them. The trade winds are strongest during summer. Coriolis force tends to turn the flow of the air. Wind vane is an instrument that determines the direction of the wind. Westerlies lie between the latitudes of 35 degrees north to 60 degrees south. Which among the following phenomena can occur when very warm and humid air is rising over a mass of a very cold air? Those are storms. Select the correct options. Okay. Storms and cyclonic storms and intense rain and hail. Foehn and Chinook winds are caused by strong regional winds while passing over a mountain range. Hail is associated with thunderstorm. Which of the following statements about westerlies is not correct? They blow from subtropical high to equatorial low. No, this is the wrong statement. But the correct statements about the westerlies are westerlies of southern hemisphere are stronger, right? In northern hemisphere, they blow from southwest to northeast, right? They are also known as rolling 40s, furious 50s, and shrieking 60s. B, C, and D are the correct options regarding the westerlies, but A is not the right statement. The warm and dry winds that blow down the steep valley in Japan are called yamo. Sea breeze is formed during daytime. Willy Willy is a tropical cyclone of northwest Australia. Which of the following winds are predominantly seasonal winds? Those are monsoon winds. Next is the matching. List one local wind and list the area of prevalence. Chinooks, rocky slopes of the USA, that is America. Foyne, northern slopes of Alps. Sirocco, North African desert. Mistral, that is southern slopes of Alps. Which one of the following is not a necessary condition for the formation of heavy rainfall? Air must be warm near the surface. This is not the necessary condition. Other than this, moist air must rise to great heights. Air must become saturated. Air pressure must be high. These three are the necessary conditions for the formation of heavy rainfall. Okay, mention that where are the Alps mountains present in the world? Mention that in the comment. The phenomena of trade winds takes place due to conduction of heat. Sirocco is a name used to mean a local wind. Winds and air currents differ in the aspect that winds are horizontal movements of air while air current are the vertical movements of air. Next is assertion and reason that trade winds acts as the steering flow for tropical storms that form over the Atlantic, Pacific and Indian Oceans that make landfall in North America, Southeast Asia and India respectively. Right? Trade winds also steer African dust westward across the Atlantic Ocean into the Caribbean Sea, as well as portions of Southeast North America. Reason is also true, but this is not the right explanation for assertion. Another assertion and reason: the dominant winds are the trends in direction of wind with the highest speed over a particular point of on the Earth's surface. True. A region's prevailing and dominant winds often show global patterns of movement in the Earth's atmosphere. This is also right, and this is not the correct explanation of assertion. Show the following are the trends in direction of wind with the highest frequency over a particular point on the Earth's surface. These are polar winds. Which of the following winds blow predominantly from the northeast in the northern hemisphere and from the southeast in the southern hemisphere? Those are trade winds. Next, assertion and reason. The polar winds circulate in the cells between 60 degrees to 90 degrees in each hemisphere. True, each polar region tends to send strong winds varying from cool to cold toward the equator. Reason is also true, but this is not the correct explanation for assertion. What causes wind to deflect toward left in the southern hemisphere? That is the rotation of the Earth. Which one of the following is a planetary wind? That is trade wind. Westerlies in southern hemisphere are stronger and persistent than in northern hemisphere. Why? Southern hemisphere landmass as compared to northern hemisphere has less landmass. True. Coriolis force is higher in southern hemisphere as compared to the northern hemisphere. This is false. Which is often found to blow in a hot summer day due to conduction of heat between air and soil on the earth. Next subtopic, that is cyclone and anticyclone. Mid-latitude cyclones are formed in regions of strong temperature contrasts. On November 8, 2013, many people died in Philippines after a super typhoon ravaged the country. What was the name of the typhoon? That is Haiyan. What is the recently formed cyclone that came in Philippines? Mention that name in the comments. And what is the last cyclone that occurred in the 2024 in India? Mention that name also in the comments. And mention that by which country is that name uh, kept. That also mentioned in the comments. The tropical cyclones do not occur close to the equator because of weak Coriolis force. Temperate cyclones bring along with them mild rainfall. Cyclonic rainfall largely occurs in India. Who introduced the term anticyclone for the first time? By F. Galton. Consider the following statements regarding general characteristics associated with tropical cyclones. Which of the above given statements is correct? Tropical cyclones move with very low velocity over the oceans, but become strong while moving over the land areas. No, they are confined to a particular period of the year and normally move from east to west. Second statement is right statement. Statement 1 and statement 2. Which of the given statements above is correct? Anticyclone, which is a high pressure wind system, does not bring about significant change in weather condition. True. The outward movement of wind from the high pressure center keeps limited scope for weather disturbance. This is also right. Which of the following statements is or correct? Cyclone is a low pressure belt, right? The wind movement is clockwise in the cyclone of northern hemisphere. No, this is in anti-clockwise. Hurricanes are also called willy willy in Australia. The tropical cyclones of the Bay of Bengal are usually called typhoons. Next, assertion and reason. Greenland and Antarctica regions are permanent centers of thermal anticyclones. True, the high pressure is the common feature of Greenland and Antarctica because of the high latitudes and free radiation. Reason is also true. This is the correct explanation for assertion. Consider the following statements. Which of the given statements above is not correct? Okay. A hurricane acquires its spin from the Coriolis effect. True. The diameter of the hurricane decreases as it moves away from the low latitude. No, false. The diameter of the hurricane is never below 150 kilometers. No, no, this is also false. Only first option is the right statement. Second and third options are the wrong statements. Which one of the following statements is correct? Hurricanes develop over warm ocean areas. Hurricanes are generally active over the sea. Next, assertion and reason. Hurricanes do not originate in South Atlantic Ocean and Southeastern Pacific Ocean. True, in South Atlantic and Southeastern Pacific Oceans, the intertropical convergence zone seldom occurs. Reason is also true, and reason is the correct explanation for assertion. The cyclones of temperate latitudes differ from those of the tropics in the number of ways. Which one of the following is the most prominent of them all? They are caused by frontal system, whereas the tropical cyclones are not. Here they means these cyclones of the temperate latitudes. During the passage of the tropical cyclone at seacoast, the following atmospheric conditions are observed. The correct sequence of the occurrence of these conditions is barometric fall with dark clouds, then torrential rainfall with gusty winds, then total calm and clear skies. Next, assertion and reason. Cyclone is developed in a region of extremely low pressure of air with steep gradient of pressure. True. It has outward spiraling air at low elevations and inward air flowing at the high elevations. Reason is also true, and this is the correct explanation for assertion. Which one among the following statements relating to an anticyclone is correct? Anticyclone is a wind system with a high pressure center. The cyclone represents a state of atmosphere in which low pressure in the center and high pressure around. Consider the following names. Which of the above are the names of hurricanes that had occurred very recently? This was old question. Uh, make it to the recent current topic actually. Okay, this is the old one. Neglect this, but make yourself the question that what are the names of the hurricanes that had occurred recently in this 2024? Which of the following is the name of very violent and serious types of winds which bring lot of disasters, that is hurricanes? What happens to the water depth as the tsunami waves approach the coast? Water depth increases. The angular speed of a whirlwind in a tornado towards the center decreases rapidly. Next subtopic is climate and weather. In Köppen's classification of world climate, AW climates refer to tropical wet and dry climate with dry season in winter. With reference to equatorial climate, consider the following statements. Which among the statements are correct? Okay. Thermally induced low pressure belt develops around the equator, but the pressure gradient is very low. True. Tropical, sorry, temporal variability in the amount of rainfall is not found. This is false. Consider the following climate dates. Okay. The above climate dates resembles that of which one of the following cities? Jan 9 degrees, temperature 102 degrees precipitation. These all includes the refers to the San Francisco. Distribution of rain in Mediterranean region for uneven. Giraffes are common in wet and dry tropics. In equatorial regions, the temperatures between July and January are the same. Nights and days in equatorial region are equal. The game country is the name given to tropical grassland region. We find rainfall very heavy all the year round in a belt known as the Derent Belt. Hot belt is known as equatorial region. The Amazon basin of South America and the Congo basin of Africa lie in the equatorial belt. Hail is the product of thunderstorm. Next is assertion and reason. In the Mediterranean climate, a pronounced winter precipitation is observed. True, the Mediterranean regime is controlled by subtropical anticyclone in winter. This is false. Next, list 1 is the climate and list 2 is the code in Copenhagen classification. Savanna climate, that is AW, steppe climate, that is PS, humid subtropical, that is CFA, dry subtropical climate, that is CS climate. Consider the following statements and which of the given above statements is are correct. In the tropical rainforest of Brazil, the average diurnal range of temperature is much greater than the average annual range of temperature. True, in the humid subtropical climate of Kyushu Island of Japan, the rainfall for the year almost totals that of the rainfall in tropical rainforest. This is false. Which one of the following climates is found in coastal areas of California in North America, central Chile in South America, and southwest tip of West Australia? That is Mediterranean. With reference to Köppen's classification of climate types, consider the following statements. Which among the statements is all correct? The minor or subtype indicated through small letter F means rains all the year around. True. The minor or subtype indicated through a small letter S means dry summer. Right. Next is the matching. List one with the list two. SW monsoon, that is southwestern monsoon in India, westerlies in Pacific coast of Canada, southeast monsoon, China, doldrums in Indonesia. Mean monthly temperature means the sum of daily mean temperature in a month divided by the number of days in that month. The region with grasslands, extensive rolling plains, dull uniformity and monotony of scene, no trees, extreme cold and dryness in winter can be described as having steppe type of climate. Next, list one with the list one climatic type and characteristics. Savanna, rainy scanty, long dry season, bush and short grass vegetation. Humid subtropical, annual rainfall 75 centimeters, no pronounced dry season forest vegetation. West coast marine, annual temperature range below 20 degrees Celsius and mixed hardwood to coniferous vegetation. And middle latitude desert, rainfall below 15 centimeters and thorny scrub vegetation. Which of the following pairs are correctly matched? Okay, CWA, capital C, small w and small a. Hot summer and dry winter. True. Capital C, small w and small b. Hot dry summer. No, false. Capital C, small s and small b. Warm dry summer. Right. Capital C, small f and small b. Warm summer. Right. 1, 3 and 4 are the correct codes. Which of the following conditions characterize the equatorial climates of the world? Correct answer using the codes. Okay. Equatorial climates of the world. Afternoon thunder shower and small diurnal range of temperature, but not cold winter and hot summer. A region with summer temperature of 20 degrees Celsius, winter temperature of -15 degrees Celsius, annual rainfall of about 50 centimeters, mainly in spring and early summer coniferous vegetation would lie in the cool temperate central or Siberian type environment. Which one of the following pairs is correctly matched? There's capital C and small s, which is Mediterranean. Next, matching. List one is climatic region and list are the locations of the areas. Tundra climatic region, very high latitudes, monsoon, large areas of the tropics, Mediterranean subtropical, continental western margins between 30 degrees north to 40 degrees south, and equatorial is continental interiors of low to moderate elevation along the equator. Next is assertion and reason. Equatorial region is an area of sluggish development. False. Extreme climatic conditions prevail here. True. Next, the following table contains temperature and rainfall data of the station in the southern hemisphere. The data is indicative of, if at all looking at the all of this data regarding the temperature and the precipitation related to these months, it is related to the data of the indicative of marine west coast climate. Identify the climatic type which has cool summer 10 degrees Celsius to 15 degrees Celsius, and cold winter 0 degrees to 5 degrees Celsius, and rainfall throughout the year with no decision, that is capital D and small f. Next, the matching list 1 are the characteristics and list 2 are the regions. Cloudiness and heavy precipitation unfavorable for livestock farming. Equatorial. Westerlies throughout the year and mild winters. West European region orchid farming. Famous for game. That is savanna region of parkland type vegetation. Dry summers, wet winters, that is Mediterranean. Another matching list one of the clouds and list two of the characteristics. Cirrus clouds, feathery appearance, stratus clouds, horizontally spreading, nimbus clouds, rain giving, cumulus clouds. Those are vertically growing actually. This is wrong. Three. Another matching. Convective cloud, local ascent of warm, buoyant air parcel in a conditionally unstable environment. Layer cloud, forced lifting of stable air. Next, orographic cloud, forced lifting of air as it passes over mountains or hills. Funnel cloud, adiabatic expansion and cooling due to rapid local reduction in pressure. The Mediterranean region receives rainfall from westerlies in winter. The penguins are found in weather classification. Capital in small f. Tasmania and New Zealand are located in West European type of climate. The equatorial regions receive rainfall throughout the year. The annual rainfall is generally about 160 centimeters. The desert of Gobi lies in the classification of capital B and small a. Which of the following is the world's largest desert? That is Sahara. Pampas of Argentina are found in capitals in small a. CS climate is found characteristically in the western margin of the continents. Another matching list one climatic type and list two of the regions. Capital A, small m and small w. Western coast of India in the south of Goa. Capital A and small w. Most parts of Peninsula Plateau. Capital P, small s, small h and small w. That's interior parts of Peninsula, western slopes of Aravallis and parts of Haryana. Capital C, small w and small g. Those are northern coast of India. Mention in the comments that what is the meaning of capital A and capital B, capital C, capital D, and small a, small b, small m, small w, small f. All of those in the comments actually. Those are very, very important. Based on that only this chapter related. Which one of the following regions has a Mediterranean type of climate? Cape Town region of South Africa. Next, Ascension region. Though Britain and Labrador have the same latitudinal location, the climate of Britain is temperate while that of Labrador is cold. True. Warm ocean currents skirt Britain while cold currents flow along the Labrador coast. Reason is also true and this is the correct explanation for assertion. Smog is a combination of smoke and fog. Which one among the following is not an important factor of climate of an area? That is longitude. Climate change resulting in the rise of temperature may benefit which of the countries or regions? Russia and Northern Europe. A geographic region has the following distinct characteristics. The above features are the distinct characteristics of which one of the following regions? Okay. Warm and dry climate, mild and wet winter, and evergreen oak trees. These are all of Mediterranean region. Which one of the following does not control climate? Longitudes. Which of the following conditions indicate the impact of global warming? Select the correct answer. Okay. Global warming. Melting of glaciers, true. Rising the sea level, right. Changes in weather conditions, true. Rising global temperature. All are the conditions that indicate the impact of global warming. Which one of the following is the characteristic climate of the tropical savanna region? a definite dry and wet season. Next subtopic is precipitation. Which one of the following islands receive convectional rainfall? That is Sumatra. Sumatra Islands are present in which continent? Mention that in the comments. With reference to convectional type of rainfall, consider the following statements. It is a warm weather phenomena. True. This rainfall is associated with cumulonimbus clouds. Right. Both options are correct statements. Had there been equator in place of the Tropic of Cancer in India, the change caused in climate would be high temperature and high rainfall. In which region does rainfall occur throughout the year? Equatorial region. Consider the following statements. Most rainfall and snowfall in the mid-latitudes are formed by the ice crystal process. True. The base of cirrus clouds invariably occur at an altitude below 5,000 meters. False. First statement is right statement. The annual range of temperature in the interior of the continents is high as compared to the coastal areas. What are the regions? Thermal difference between land and water. True. Variation in altitude between continents and oceans. No. Presence of strong winds in the interior. No. Heavy rains in the interior as compared to coast. No. Only first option is the right option. This is the first right reason for it. Large areas in India are subjected to considerable rainfall variability. Rainfall variability is likely to be the greatest in the areas of very high rainfall. Next assertion reason. The annual range of temperature is greater over land areas. True. Land area warm land area warm and cool more rarely than water bodies. True. And reason is the correct explanation for assertion. Which of the following is not a form of precipitation? That is dew. Snow, haze, and rain are the forms of precipitation. The seasonality of precipitation is affected by the seasonal movement of global and regional pressure systems. Next, assertion and reason. The seasonality of precipitation is affected by the seasonal movement of global and regional pressure systems. True. Climates located at 10 degrees to 15 degrees of latitude experience a significant wet period and dominated by the intertropical convergence zone. True, but the reason is not a correct explanation for assertion. In mid-latitudes, convective precipitation is associated with cold fronts, squall lines, and warm fronts in very moist air. With all of them, which type of rainfall is caused when masses of air pushed by wind are forced up the side of elevated land formations, such as large mountains? Those are orographic. Next is assertion and reason. Areas near the equator receive rainfall throughout the year. True. High temperature and high humidity cause convectional rain in most afternoons near the equator. Reason is also true, and this is the correct explanation for assertion. Frontal rain is caused by cyclonic activity. Rain shadow effect is associated with orographic rainfall. If a small raindrop falls through air, its velocity goes on increasing for some time and then becomes constant. Okay, let's stop over here. In our next reading video, we will continue with the next chapter, that is natural resources. If at all you like the video, like, share to your friends, and comment down in the description in the comments below, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.